So here we are at the start of the losers side on Friday night's 9-ball tournament. And this is the winner of this match goes into tonight's final to play Blood Vision Code. Start the match, we've got player 1, who's Stevo UK, getting a 2-rack handicap given to him against Larry. The table is Hard Times, and it's actually set in the Loch Lomond room, where normally the snooker table is. But in VP4 online you can put whatever table you want in whatever room you want while you're online. The table settings for tonight's tournament are club table settings. That's the intermediate setting between novice and tournament. So the pockets are a little bit more forgiving. So that mistake in the jump shot there from Larry gives Stevo UK a chance to try and steal this first rack. But he's messed up there. He could try and play one of these delicate jump shots, but chose to kick his way out, nearly got lucky, knocking the 5 in. Oh, that was lucky, it just dropped in. Just to wait, the ball took it into the pocket. Straightforward 8-ball, just draw it straight up for the 9. So Larry wins his first rack, still 1 rack to 2 down. One thing that's common with this new racking system that's been put into the game, if the 9-ball doesn't get kicked, it usually wants to find its way to this bottom rail, which is where it's lying at the moment. Now ideally he wants to get this cue ball right down onto the rail parallel with the 8-ball, make it easier to come up for the 9. he might be sitting a bit straight. He's still got a bit of an angle there to punch round the corner with the cue ball. He can knock the 8 in and follow through, but he looks to be drawing it. He needs to get a bit of reverse side on this. Bit too much though. He might even have been able to get away with that without the reverse English on it. But you can't always bank your way out of a crisis. Cut this in. And we've missed it. But he hasn't left it easy. This isn't a bank shot. He's going to try and have to cut this along the rail as well. That's a well played shot. Ball here's going to be, first one's going to be the 5 ball, but he's got a thin cut on the 3. Just bring the cue ball back up the left hand side of the 5. That's turned in a bit of a disaster there, getting behind the 6. Oh, he scratched. That's what happens, you just run out of position, you end up having to do desperate things to try and keep the game alive. He's given Stevo a good opportunity to steal this rack. Roll this 5 down into the corner, roll through past the 7 I would assume. Again, for the ideal shot he wants to roll through, but he's chosen just to stop it. Now the angle that's on that 7 is going to bring the cue ball back to the 9, and that's the problem. It wasn't the right angle to play that shot. He should have ran through, or better still, he should have actually drawn the cue ball up past the middle pocket so he could take the 7 into the middle and have a nice easy angle to come up for the 8. That's how you get out of position, make trouble for yourself. To get away from that, he had his chance. Just a poor positional shot. Well, something dropped. I don't know what one it was. Or the 8 ball. Left the ball a bit straight in the 2, could only just stun out for the 3. Going to have to draw across for the 4. And took his eye off it. These pockets might be a bit more receptive, but if you start hitting jaws, the shelves are still deep to hold those balls up and prevent them going in. As if he's going to be digging out the jump stick here. Pick your angle, draw the Q-tip just down below the equator and then jump. And I think there's just enough of that 5 shown to get it in. Yeah, plenty of room. So Larry ties the match up at 3 racks all, and it's race to 7 on the loser's side. Breaks as well. So the 9 ball, again, the way Larry's breaking, the 9 ball wants to stay at this end of the table. Ball just frozen to where it was at the head of the rack. Nice bank, but no position on the 3 ball. Larry runs for cover. He's got the snooker. We'll just be kicking this off the bottom rail, hoping to bank it in somewhere. So the 7 goes, but he really wants to be playing this with a good bit of right hand English to kick it off that top rail onto the side and back across for the 7. He's still got a shot, but it's a thin cut. Probably going to bank this, I would think. It's there, but he hasn't thought about the cue ball and he's scratched. That was bad. Should have banked that with a bit of bottom in the cue ball, that way it wouldn't have got anywhere near that pocket. Harry takes a 4 racks to 3 lead. Mark went for the bank again, but he's got lucky. To draw this a little, to kill it. Problems holding for that 6 ball. And there was just too much angle there. And no doubt he's going to try the reverse bank. And that's there. It's going to get in the other bag down the bottom, I think. No, it's just going to catch the jaw. And that's a bad shot. That's really poor. Way short. So he's left a really thin cut. But as he scratched, oh dear. Again, just a very poor shot, leaving it short in the 8 ball. Had to go for the thin cut. Couldn't do anything with the cue ball other than let it run, and of course it scratches straight into the corner. So Stevo UK given a lifeline there, steals the rack, ties the match back up at 4 racks all. You just roll the cue ball through there a fraction, just leave the 3 into the middle. I think you try to draw back to take that one back into the middle as well. It's just a bit short. This is really tough to get anywhere near this 4. He's got to really bang this 3 in. Lots of top in the cue ball. It's a thin cut, but it will go. Natural angle would be to come off that top cushion, but he decided to bank it in, and that's, well, that's turned out perfect. Even Larry liked that one. The ideal shot here would be just to roll the 6 in and kill the cue ball off that 9 ball. But he's hit it too hard, but look what he gets. He billiards the 9 in. A weak push out from my point of view. It looks a fairly easy billiard from the 1 ball to the 3 onto the 6. I don't know why he didn't play that. It looked fairly straightforward to billiard onto the 3 and cut it down the rail for the 6 ball to go in. Well, Larry's making the mistakes. He's given Stevo the opportunities here. It's just a question of taking them. So now we're going to get the combo. If he gets over to the right rail, doesn't he snooker himself behind a 9 or anything like that. Just a little cut on the 3. Nice soft cut, leave the 3 there or thereabouts. Cue ball's going to be across in position for the 3 in the same pocket. And again, don't get caught in any traffic. Out in the open on the 4. This looks an easy run out. Same thing with the 4, just get the cue ball off the rail, out into the middle of the table. Simple 3, but roll through a bit, make sure you've got the right angle on the 7. Now, has he got the right angle? He can just roll through with a bit of English. I think he just played it plain ball, didn't even need English on it. Really anywhere at this end of the table he's going to have a shot in the 9. The 9 goes in, and Stevo UK is on the hill, leading by 6 racks to 4. Dry break. Again, I don't know whether it's the change in the speed of the cloth or something, but a poor positional shot. Shouldn't have been near the 3. And you just cannot keep pulling shots out of the bag. Position, get the cue ball over this side. No, he's shot. And the 4 does go past the 6, but position on this 5 really tough. Again, a kind of desperation shot going for a bank, but he got on the 5. I'll give him that. He got onto the 5 ball straight, so he's gonna have to try and cheat an angle here to get this cue ball right through and round the angles back up the table. Unless he's gonna leave a long thin cut. That looks to be the choice. And he's trying somehow to go over the left hand side to get to this 6, but it looks a tough ask at distance. Well, he's got a shot. It's a thin cut again. Just about the pace in the cue ball to hold it for the 7. Oh dear. Again, if you get out of position, you're always going to be struggling. Things just seem to mount up. Once you get that awkward shot, your next shot's even more awkward, or you do something like that and you scratch. That's handed it on a plate, and Mark's taken his eye right off the ball. Missed a sitter. Had to roll the 7 ball in, leave himself on the 8. He's thrown it away. And that's all the encouragement Larry's going to need to try and dig this match out the fire. But what's happening here? Oh, disaster. Absolute and total disaster. That was a terrible end to that match. So Stevo wins by 7 racks to 4 and goes through. He goes through to tonight's final against Blood Vision Code.